Hello, hello, baby dolls. You know, retailers, they're always making the wrong move. They're buying the tops and they're selling the bottoms. Why? I mean, we know why, right? They don't know what they're doing. They invest to maximize the dopamine in their brain. So, what they do is they are not buying to make money, they are buying with everyone else. They're following a herd because we're programmed in our brains to be followers, to be sheep. We feel like we are participating with the community. It increases our likelihood of survival. So therefore, when we see everyone else doing an action, we want to automatically follow. It's in our human nature. Retailers do this by default. They're hearing everything on TV and news, and they basically buy the tops. And when they hear the news is bad, they sell the bottoms. So look at this, man. I found this very interesting. So retail noobs, they will focus on the death cross, right? So, you have a 200 period moving average and a 50 period. And if the 50 crosses down, and it's bearish. So it's funny, like I've said, it's two lines that grab data from 200 days ago. So I've said it like this because, right, look, I've written, they also focus on the current news. So I just find it interesting. So you can live in the past, the present, or the future. Okay, let's draw a cute little line here. This is just in your mindset, right? So this is today, or you can live in the past, right? So you can live yesterday, or the future. Okay, future. And I've just noticed, right? Retailers, they are constantly, so when they're always living in the present. Okay, so the present is news. Okay, this is news. They're always looking at the news. Oh, what's the news? What came out? Who said this? Who said that? Oh, did the president change his socks today? Oh my god, my mittens. I've lost me mittens. These types of news do nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay? And retailers are constantly digesting them. See, I digest the news as well. But that's because I'm on the bleeding edge, man. I'm here 16 to 18 hours a day. There's literally nothing else for me left to do except watch the calendar tick every single hour as crypto moves and marches forward, okay? But our bags are already set, okay? But retailers digest this not for entertainment like I do, but they digest it to actually make investment decisions, okay? And they also focus on the past. So that is like, the death cross. I found it interesting that like they'll always look at that. You know what I also found interesting? When there's like a disbelief phase and people think the stock market's going to crash or crypto's going to crash, people will focus on a fractal of the past. And they'll say, oh my god, the fractal, and oh my god, there's going to be a big crash. And I'm always wondering, like, where the hell are you getting this information from? And then you check, and I'm like, oh my god, someone drew like a fractal from like, GFC or 2001 collapse or the zombie virus. Interesting how it catches on. So, I've never heard anybody say it like the way I'm thinking about it, right? Because we're going deep here, philosophy, right? Philosophy with the friends, right? So they're either living in the past or the present, and they don't make money. They don't make money. What makes money is, you get it, the future, all right? We're going to have to make this a juicier light color. The future makes money. The future is where you say, all right, well, if we made it this far, we're probably in a upwards drifting forward motion to keep continuing the path of success and human geniusness, right? So no one really thinks like that because, why, there's thousands of reasons, okay? So look at this, man. I've even written it here for you as well. So the retailers, they're constantly living in the past and in the present, okay? And the winners, we are living in the future. Always. When you hear the language, what am I talking about? I'm like, okay, where are we going to be? 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And by the way, 2 3 years is nothing compared to stock market boomers. Warren Buffett, everyone else, their teachings was always think about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Where's the big trend? That's what they're always talking about. Like, crypto is so bleeding edge, man. It's like a 24-hour cycle. 24 months is like an eternity, right? So, and I've just got some message here, man. Just hold to 2025 and stop being a toilet paper hander. That's it. We've done the hard work. There is going to be a next leg of the government trying to fight crypto and all this. But, man, if you just get in early, at least when that fighting comes and they turn it up a notch, at least you're wealthier. Okay? At least you get to fight with bigger bags, okay? Think about the new newbies who don't know about crypto yet and the possibilities we have. They're going to come in like 2, 3, 4, 5 years by the top. Like, it's a whole nother cycle, man. So just front run them. Just front run them, okay? So before you think about paper handing or whatever, I always like to post about the pain of the past. Because whenever we go through pain, they are just candles on a chart, but man, they carry a lot of weight. And you got to always think, is this time different, And the pain and the fear, it really does feel like it's different. Because fear is the strongest emotion, okay? Yeah, I talk a big game, but man, I want to punch a wall and I want to do some damage to someone innocent just to take vengeance on the pain I have, right? And also want to take vengeance on people who deserve it. But, this pain, it's all been done before, friends. Like, we forget. People lived through the Great Depression, World War I, World War II, the Great Midden Crisis. There was a fluffy sock famine. So many things have happened in history, and humans prevail. And really, when you look at it, we're just praying for some simple things. We're praying, you're going to laugh, we're praying for them to press a button, print US dollars, for it to loop to the rich people, the bankster, right? And for them to loan it out to another scum bankster. Let's do a little poopy, a little scum insider. And for them to loop that money around and go, woohoo, come to my Bitcoin and Ethereum bags, baby. That's actually how we make money, by the way. Yes, it's true. They print money, goes to the banks get the inflation, they loan it out to their rich friends, and then they have like so much money that it filters out to the non-financial institutions, and it goes out and gets inflation in society, and then it loopy-doops, pays some workers, and here we are. It ends up in the form of a green candle in crypto. So that's what happens. If more people understood this, they'd probably hold with me, but that's why you're listening to me, right? Please like, subscribe, bell button, all. I'm trying to save everyone, trying to help you as we're all friends. So look at this, man. Remember the pain in Ethereum? We got 12 red weekly candles in a row from here, man. I didn't want to be alive at this point. I'm serious, man. This was a nuclear bomb. 12 red weekly candles right before the merge was coming. Oh, man. So I've got crypto has a lot of volatility, but the down moments are when it stings the most. And it always stings, man. Always stings. You know why? You got to be aware of this, right? Your portfolio is going up over time. So the percentages, the swings of the percentages are lower, but your absolute dollar value is high. Because you haven't adjusted yet, Like if you're making $50,000 today per year, and in 20 years, you're making like $200,000 per year because of inflation and everything. Well, a 10 to 20% swing in your portfolio today is gonna, it's gonna feel like nothing compared to, this is for you and me, in 20 years. The number's gonna be bigger. When you're swinging 20% off 100K, it's only 20. When you're swinging 20% off like 10 million, it's big, right? It's hard for the human mind to adjust the percentages. It really is, So, always mention here, right? Nobody wants to bite the lows, but this is where the highest reward is available for hodling. Yeah, it's true. It's true, man. Go back to this time in 2022. Not one single influencer stepped in, put their testicles and their socks and their mittens on the floor, and then put them on the table and then put them on the floor again. None of them said, this is the time to go all in. None of them. And I was saying, man, I was literally saying, by the way, I'm not saying this like I'm some sort of like, super confident guy. Go back to my tweets. I was saying, guys, I'm in so much pain right now. I want to quit and throw in the towel. But man, every bottom signal is flashing. I was like, man, everything in the textbook is flashing. Capitulation, anger, down only. I want to jump off a cliff and then jump off a building and then just launch me into the sun. This is how I feel. I can't imagine how everyone else feels, right? No one wants anything to do with crypto. My God, this is the greatest buy of all time, I'm saying it with a tongue-in-cheek smile right now. It didn't feel like it at the time, but I knew, man. Because I've just been in the game 12 years. I know what it's like seeing prices sink infinitely, And there are people who won't listen. So look at this, man. This is crazy, man. I'm gonna keep saying this stat for a long time because you won't even believe it until you see it. The average investor underperforms the stock market holding by 1.5% every year. That's because they have too much junk in their portfolio. Okay, so what that means is the average investor, so the person who says, okay, I'm not going to trade. I am not going to day trade, okay? Instead of getting like 8% with the stock market, they'll only get 6.5% per year. That's someone who actually is in the stock market, right? Who's holding. And that's because they have too much junk in their portfolio. So, but this is expected, right? It's the same like in crypto. It's like, okay, well, a lot of people have, 80 to 90% Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then that final 10%, they degen a bit, and then maybe they sink a bit too much out of their Bitcoin stack. Maybe they like fund the trades a bit here and there. They buy a bit of poopy coins, and they don't go as well, right? So that's where it comes from. But they're still going to be okay. Look at the next line. The average day trader gets crushed minus 6.5% annually. Look at this, friends. And stocks are doing 8% per year. So you think it's hard for you to see the digits. You're like, percents here and percents there. This is how you got to think about it, right? It is 1.5% divided by 8. Okay, so look at this, friends. Out of the gains every year, stock market, the day traders, this is in crypto as well, right? So the day traders are only making 18 to 20% of the whole move, okay, on average. Isn't that nuts? 18 to 20%. So now, you know what? Let's round it up. Let's say we're friends, our mittens are warm, and we're wearing our slippers, and we're gonna round it up for them, right? So that's basically, crypto goes 10x. Let's say like there's a coin that goes 10x. You're always going to hear of someone in a trade. You're like, haha, man, I made like 100%, which is the 2x, right? But that's why they made their 2x. It's because the freaking move was 10. That's why they made their 2x. So they think that these moves are going to last forever. But man, the low-hanging fruit gets eaten exponentially faster. I'm telling you this time and time and time again. Crypto's getting harder over time. Everybody's figuring out the formula. Oh, Metcalfe's law. Oh, the apps and the applications and all these other stuff going on. People are getting smarter and better. It's harder to just fool people with junk. You can't just go make another Facebook or another Google and get people to join in, right? That's eventually what happens. So think about that, man. The day traders are only making 1/5. This is the average, of course. That's the average. That includes the winners. That's the top 10% killing it. The average is only getting 1/5 of the whole move. Wow. So that's why, man. That's why when you see, crypto goes 10x and then these guys are making a 2x. Wow. So they think they're going to keep making these 2x's every bull market. What about when crypto slows down and crypto's only doing like a 2x itself, right? What are they going to be making? Oh, 40%. Okay, They're missing out, friends. They're going to miss out. This compounds over time. And then what if they make one mistake? That's all it takes. One mistake wipes you out. How come every bull market, I see huge screenshots of all these day traders killing it, yet they have a shelf life and then they disappear in the next 24 months? I wonder why. You know why, friends. They do well, they get cocky, and they lose it all. And, man, I've been trading for 12 plus years, friends. Here I am telling you, day trading sucks. I can teach yous, but I don't want you to waste your time, okay? I've protected myself. You know how? I've got 95% plus holding. I know how the game ends for everyone. I've seen it. I realized it was a scam. Not really a scam. It's just like it's a never-ending dream that it's like chasing that unicorn, that dragon, right? You think you're going to be in the top of the pyramid, but then you realize trading is not a profession, like a sport. Sorry, it is a sport. It's not like, I'm getting better as a plumber. Like every 3 years I learn something new and I advance, It's not like learning a trade. Trading is a sport. You got muscles, you got bones, you can get injured. And then the players change and the game changes and the meta of the game changes in 5 years. And suddenly you ain't so crash hot anymore. And you're out on your own, okay? That's what trading is like. So I've hedged myself. I learned this in 2020, man. It was one of the hardest things I ever did. I'll tell you a story about it later, but it was literally very difficult. But here are the stats, man. We'll have stats for you now. Every year, the losses compound. What the investors are missing out compounds, okay? So, crazy, right? How come the stock market goes up 8% every year and stock market investors are only getting 1/5 of that? 1/5. You know what's even worse, friends? I've even done tweets. I mapped the M2 money supply and I put it with the stock market, and it's literally the same line. So basically, the stock market is the inflation over like 100 years. That's the sad part, okay? So you have M2 and you have stocks. So translation just means if you hold stocks for 20 to 30 years, you are hedging with US dollar inflation. That's it. You are not getting any alpha. You are just hedging your inflation. The real inflation, right? Not the one that they state. Obviously, the government lies. So, the real inflation of the government is like 5%. So, just the real hard number is you only get like 2% per year. So, the real inflation, the M2 supply, it's growing at like 5%, and the stocks is giving you like 7 or 8. Okay? So, that's all you're getting, 2% per year. So, compare the stock market traders who are only getting 1.5% versus the 5% that they're printing per year. So what these people don't know is because they're trading every year, they are losing 3.5% of their purchasing power every single year to inflation. So in 10 years, their $100,000 is really only worth like $70,000. But they don't know it because it's moving so slow. So that's why it's so important to hodl, especially crypto, which is absolutely crushing stock market boomers. Crushing it, okay? So you've seen it now, friends. You've seen all the evidence here. But trading's great. I love it. I do it every day, man. It's awesome. But who's it awesome for? It's awesome for 3 out of 100 people like me who can sit here all day and do it and love clicking buttons, okay? It's not awesome for the other 97%. And we underperform hodling. We underperform it, man. There's also that risk of just blowing up. So many things are just not worth it. But you understand that. Everyone understands. You DCA, you buy, you hold. Never forget this, man. If everything you're listening to is going to come down to one main point, it was this, man. Like, even when you needed to buy the most aggressive, the worst times, most people still couldn't do it. They couldn't. And I'm not expecting you to, by the way. But this is the best part, friends. If you commit to holding 10 years, right? What you are doing every time the market does a poopy on your face like this, because you're holding, you're effectively buying. That's the best part. Every time the market wants to do a big fat juicy doo-doo on our face, right? Every single time it wants to do a doo-doo on our face, if you hold for a decade and you say, that's it, I'm DCA buying, whatever. If you just have that attitude, every time you hold and you don't sell, that is equal to a buy. That's the best part, friends. And just imagine compounding that every single time it happens. You're going to kill it. We're all going to make it. Love you all, friends. Till next time.